What's up, everybody? I have another phone review to do. Today we got the Galaxy Note 2. I have to say I've been using this phone for about 3 days, and I've charged it once, so that's pretty amazing. So a phone with such a big screen has a big enough battery, which is 3100 mAh, and easily supports it. So I'm not a heavy user like some people out there, but I can pretty much guarantee you're gonna get a day and a half to 2 days on average. That's probably the battery life that you're gonna get, regardless how much you use it. Alright, so let's get straight into it. Alright, so we all know that it's rocking quad core, 2 GBs of RAM, and not to mention the Mali graphics card, the GPU, is the same as in the Note 1, but don't let that deter you from getting this phone. I think the biggest issue here for most people is the size of it and whether or not it fits in the palm of your hand as such. And I have to say that the design of the new Note 2 versus the Note 1 is far, well, maybe not far, but greatly improved in the palm of your hand. That one was more square, while on the sides here it's more rounded. It rounded up towards you, so it kind of curves to this part of your hand right here, and it curves up, which is beautiful. Much easier to hold. Better for those people who are, slightly clumsy and may slip out and drop. It's much easier to hold. They've elongated the screen versus extending the side. They actually brought it down a bit, I think about a centimeter or so. Rounded up the edges so it's not so square cut, and making it just amazing to hold in one hand. I think the biggest issue people have is how do you type with one hand if you're holding something else. They have a one-handed option where you can change the keyboard to adjust to each side of the pan. So let me just show you an example here. Let me go into messaging. So right here is the entire full screen keyboard, and it might be hard to reach that end key there, the L, but you can actually change that to take it up to almost about 70% of the keyboard. And let me just go ahead and show you how to do that. You go into the options, and then you hit one-handed option, and once you go back, you will see how it's dragged up to the side right there. Now, depending if you're left-handed or right-handed, you can just hit the side and it'll go to your left hand, or if you're using it in your right hand, it'll pop up there, and it makes it much easier to reach that last letter. So for those of you thinking, oh, it's too big for me to type, correction, it has the option of one-handed. Now, if you think you don't need a big phone like this, or it's too big for you, that's fine. There's the Galaxy S3 for that. But let me just show you the coolest things, well, for me personally, that this enables a user to do. I want a phone that can do anything and everything, and this goes ahead with the S Pen, doing extra stuff that you may think, oh, I don't really need it, but it comes in handy in everyday use. Now, let me just go ahead and give you a example. The cropping method, I'm sure you guys have already all seen that. By pressing the button on the pen and circling something, you can crop it to your clipboard. Sorry about that, let me do that again. There we go. I didn't finish the circle. Right there, I've cropped like a screenshot of what I want. Now, you think you can just palm swipe and get the full screen? Sure, but when you're, say, looking up something on the internet, a pair of shoes, of course, that's being girls, but I'm just giving you an example. Pair of shoes, a jacket that you like, circle that, put it in the clipboard, save it to your notes, message someone, say, will this suit me, or blah blah blah, whatever you can think of. Really cool. Having the location pen locator in case you leave this behind is also convenient. Thinking, oh, I'm not good with electronics, I'll lose my stuff or drop stuff. If you leave this and you walk away, I think it's a certain amount of distance you have to get away before this starts, ringing and beeping, telling you that you left the pen behind, which is also cool. Also, you guys probably all have heard or seen before the two applications running at the same time. So what you have to do is press back. You get a little tab in the side, and you can split your screen into half. And now I'm in messaging, but if you want to split the screen, you have to be open in an app, obviously. So now the messaging app is open, and say I want to watch or pick a movie in the gallery. So we'll split your screen in half. So you can either just choose an app and go directly into it, like the messaging, like I showed you, or you can press and hold and drag the icon across once you're running another app, of course, and then it splits it into half, and you can do 2 apps at the same time, which is insane. Alright, continuing to screen. Now the Note 1 has a, I guess, slightly smaller screen, and the quality of screen coloration, saturation, whatever you want to color it, is slightly better, I guess, in the sense that when you bring the brightness down to its lowest level, the Note 1 has a brighter standard screen. So when it's on the slowest level, it's actually brighter than the Note 2. But this screen gives you a better power performance and it's more efficient. That's why it gives you a great battery life. Even though they increase it by just 600 mAh, I believe, it still gives you great life because the screen, sure, it's not as bright as the Note 1. It's fractions brighter, and you would probably only notice it if they were side to side, because I honestly couldn't tell the difference. These are Super AMOLED screens, and coloration on this thing and the blacks and everything are beautiful. Speaking of blacks, actually, the Note 1s tended to have this issue that when you're viewing a preloaded video, meaning like you've already saved it on here and it was in HD and whatever, the blacks in the video would show pixelization for some reason. I have the Note 1 that does that, and I think that was a manufacturing flaw or something like that. But yeah, in case you're wondering, if this has the black crush, that's what it's called, black crush problem or issue, you can look that up on Google. It doesn't, this doesn't have it, so don't worry about that. They fixed that in the Note 2. And also to say, oh, Spen feature right here that I have to mention. This is cool for you math geeks and physics and all you guys. This is something really cool. I just want to show you to you. They have a formula function in here. I'm not sure if you've seen it before, but it's really cool. Basically, you can draw out your formula and they'll refine it to its proper form. So, and then you can research it and it'll tell you its significance. So for example, you remember, I'm just gonna do some econometrics right here. Square root of standard deviation divided by sum of xi minus x. Right there. Standard deviation. So if you see in the top there, it clarifies it, and then you can just hit search and it'll tell you where you can use it, how it's used, blah blah blah, and get basic information on what that formula is. Now I think for people who have math or economic or econometrics, whatever you call that, that uses formulas, maths, physics, all that stuff, this comes in handy, hands down. There's no other phone that I know that can do this. So it's brilliant. Now we're using stock TouchWiz 4.1. It is Jelly Bean. Let me just go and confirm that right here. There we go. And it's well integrated with the quad core and 2GB, so it runs beautifully smooth. So as usual, subscribe, like, ask any questions you want below. I will be doing part 2 of the photo camera in the back, in depth of day and night video and pictures. So stay tuned for that, and please subscribe.